Kia ora koutou, my name's Nick from the University of Canterbury, and today we'll talk about teacher education programs. We have lots of options here for people who want to become teachers, ranging from undergraduate degrees in early childhood and primary teaching to one-year graduate and postgraduate options in early childhood, primary or secondary teaching. We have lots of different students come to us who want to be teachers. Some come straight from high school, others are career changers who just want to start a new career. But they're all welcome here, and we'll look after each and every one of you. So what will you learn here on your teaching programs at UC? Well, we'll teach you lots of things, everything from managing a classroom to creating teaching resources, to a curriculum, to learning and assessment. You'll also have practical experiences where you'll be in schools or early childhood centres learning the craft of being a teacher, and you'll be mentored by an associate teacher who's invested in your learning. We have a strong focus on biculturalism here at UC too, so you'll learn lots about te reo Māori and tikanga Māori because biculturalism is so important for a teacher to understand these days. But enough from me. Let's now hear from some of our students as they talk about their experiences here at UC, and after that I'll be back talking to Dr. Patrick Shepherd, who's one of our program coordinators, and we'll talk about tips for the application process so you can give yourself the best chance of being successful in getting a place at UC.
Growing up, I always found my teachers as role models and I always looked up to them, and I love kids and I thought this would be a great path to take.
I think I've always thought about teaching. It's just kind of always been a career I thought I'd go into. I've loved working with kids and learning and being able to have fun and let loose and still teach and continue on through education, yeah.
I was taking Year 12 PE and we had a coaching assignment, so we went into Fendleton Primary and took them through some sports coaching, and that really started a bit of a passion for working with kids.
The programs that they run and the opportunities that you have to take so many different courses is so exciting. You're offered the opportunity to learn more te reo and kind of get a better understanding on New Zealand and its culture and where you fit in that, which is exciting, and develop in other areas, you know, like maths and literacy, things that you might not have really enjoyed in high school. You come in, I find, in university, and when you learn them over again, you kind of learn them from that teaching perspective, and it opens your eyes as to the importance of it, and I think you get to understand a bit more about yourself.
It's very exciting. There's always something new that we're learning, and I was quite pleasantly surprised at the abundance of knowledge we're actually getting through child development and the psychology behind it all, not just going on placement and making lesson plans and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot more to it.
It's different to a lot of other degrees in the way that you take all the same papers as your group. So everyone's in the same classes, the same days, all across the board. So that really helps sort of create a community, and everyone's mixed in together, and you walk through a lecture theatre and you know everyone there, and it's really nice being able to have that. Yeah.
A typical week as a teaching student at UC looks very different depending on who you are and what you're making of your classes. Depending on whether or not you're doing science and you're down in the creek beside the library and you're with Sarah and trying to find organisms in the lake, or you're preparing for placement or learning maths all over again and statistics and all that. Yeah, it looks different.
A typical week, we usually have about 2 to 3 lectures a day, and then we'll probably have one day off, and all the assignments are just weaved through that. Yeah.
Yeah, it ranges anywhere from 10 to 20 hours of lectures, and then, yeah, you end up making a 40-hour week out of everything that gets in there, yeah.
I definitely find it manageable, and the content within the many essays we write are very interesting, so it's easy to let it flow and get it done.
It's definitely daunting. It's, you know, myself, I had a year 7 and 8 class, an extension class, so I was challenged not only by the act of being the head person in the room, but also the content within the learning. So there's that added on top of it, and it can, it can be very intimidating, but it's an awesome experience and a great opportunity for learning.
Placement is a bit nerve-wracking at the start when you walk into a staff room and there's just all these teachers there, but I think it's a part of the experience and it's very important to go out of your comfort zone and give things a go.
Your first placement and every placement after that will always be scary. You're starting to figure out the classroom. Every environment's different, every teaching style is different. You're coming in with your own pedagogies and you're having to adapt them into the classroom that you're in, the kids that are in there and the teachers that are teaching alongside you, and you really are chucked in the deep end, but I think that's a great time to really push yourself in and get in the classroom and give it a go.
The first placement is 2 weeks and you go in, you get a feel for the school, and most of it's just observing at the start, and then you'll go away, go back to your studies in lectures, and you come back for another 4 weeks in your first year, and and then that's when you get to take on the role for 3 days, 3 half days of teaching, and you get amongst it and it's really exciting.
Do it. Yeah, it's a great degree. It's lots of fun, and you're going to come out with an awesome job.
It's a really cool experience, and you're going to have a lot of fun and meet a lot of cool people, and it's going to be really awesome.
If it's something that you're passionate about, if it's something that you think you'll really enjoy, I think give it a go.
I'm joined by Dr. Patrick Shepherd, and Pat is part of our selection committee. So when your application comes in, this is the guy that has a look at it, and he's going to tell us a few tips as well about what really looks good to him. The first tip we have today is apply early. Our application process is totally online, so you can apply anytime. Now, there is an advantage to applying early, and there is a disadvantage to applying late. Don't do it in December. We can't guarantee we'll get you through in time to start the program. Our next tip is to get some teaching type experience. It looks really good, and it gives you an introduction into what it's like to be a teacher. Pat, why are those experiences important for someone?
Well, for a start, they're really important because one of the things we get you to talk about at the interview is experiences that you've had with children. And I think it's really important that you have got some current experience with children, even if it's a visit to a school or you've actually gone and seen what's happening in modern day classrooms, because none of us have been taught in the classrooms that we see today in New Zealand. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into as well. So I think that's really important. And it gives you some idea of what's happening in today's schools, which I think is really important.
The next tip we have is to pick good referees. Part of the application process is you assign referees to make confidential reports on your suitability to be a teacher. Go outside of your family unit. We know what they say about you. Really can't put too much stock into it. But employers, coaches, teachers, there are lots of people that might be able to speak in good detail about your suitability for being a teacher. Our next tip is about the literacy and numeracy test. Now, I will warn you, this is the one that people get a little bit frightened of, but you don't need to. It's an online test. You can sit it in your own time. It's 45 minutes long for each test. Once you start the test, you cannot stop. So pick your time very carefully. Now, we're always asked what's in this test. The truth is it's at university entrance level. So for people who are school leavers, it's going to be in your wheelhouse. It's going to be something you're familiar with. The last part of the application process is the interview. Again, people feel a bit unsure about this. It's not a job interview, but it is really important that you get involved. Most of the time it's a group interview. Don't worry, you're not competing against anybody else. If you're all good, you're all in. Pat, tell us a bit more about the interview process.
Well, as Nick said, it's a group interview, and that's something that probably most of you are not familiar with. There are pros and cons to that. The good thing about it is you're not in the limelight all the time, and it gives you a chance to recover and listen to what other people are saying. One of the things that might strike you first when you're in the interview is if you're the third or fourth person to get asked one question, you might think that the other people have used up all the good air. Well, look, in education, in life, there's nothing that's actually new. What we want you to do is take those ideas and run with them and put them into your own words. Reframe them, say them a different way. Refer to it, say, as Nick said, what does that tell me about you? It tells me that you listen. And you're going into teaching, which is a people profession. And so that's telling me that you're actually listening to what's going on and you're aware.
So that's it from us. Remember, our website is a great source of more information if you need it, or just give us a call. We're always pleased to help. Remember, get those applications in nice and early. We'd love to hear from you, and good luck.